Hi guys, this is Ekansh here, and I have with me Ajinkya today.
Hello.
Again with another video. In this video, we'll be talking about how to crack a job interview. Um, this pertains more to pediatrics, but obviously the same basics apply to interviews for other subspecialties like orthopedics and gynecology, any other field for that matter. I will get straight to the point. The things that we will be covering today is how the job interview is actually structured, what are the regular do's and don'ts, what are the things that you must focus on. We'll also touch up on some of the common questions you can expect. I'll let Ajinkya start off with telling us about how a job interview, at what point do you actually get a job interview and how does it usually go down? How is it structured? Ajinkya?
Yes, so you usually have 4 to 5 people who, like a panel, who is going to interview you. So, a couple of them will be the consultants, and couple of them will be people from the HR. For past couple of years, as everything has been, it probably will be a virtual interview, and it should last around 25 to 30 minutes. This also includes introductions, pleasantries, and the clinical part of the interview, as well as they'll assess you as a candidate. But the whole point is to ascertain whether or not you are a safe doctor, and whether or not you will blend into their little unit and into their little team. And as you said, Ekansh, earlier, yes, we will talk about pediatrics, but I think if you exclude the clinical part of it, this can be extrapolated to literally all the branches in the NHS. And I would go further ahead and say, it should also include all the other jobs as well. So
Absolutely.
let's crack
Absolutely.
on.
And obviously, the point of getting to the interview is when you get shortlisted from your job applications. You can often have, up to 50 to hundreds of people applying
Yeah.
even for one job,
Yeah.
and they only come down to interviewing a handful of people. So getting to the point of interview itself is a win. We are trying to help you get to that, cracking that interview phase. Okay. Now, what we're going to start off with today is we're going to start off with the don'ts of an interview instead of the do's. And Ajinkya, I'll let you highlight some of the don'ts that we have
Yes.
in our experience that should not be done, some of which we ourselves have done and made the mistake.
Yes, that is very rightly said. So I would start with, do not dress shabby, do not be messy. So be presentable, wear clean clothes which are ironed, nothing too bright, nothing too fancy. Trim your hair if you have any, shape your beard if you're into it. uh, Clean, shave if you must, but be presentable. Even if it is a remote interview and you're at your home in your comfort zone, do not
Yep.
make it feel as if you completely, don't care about yourself and your appearance. It is very important. Secondly, do not be confused with the computer system. Familiarize yourself with Microsoft Teams or Zoom, etc., and how the functions work. Because not all of us, especially being doctors, are used to this technology. So,
Mm-hmm.
have some mock meetings with your friends, with your consultants, with your colleagues, a couple of days beforehand.
Yep.
Thirdly, do not go unprepared, especially in your clinical area. So, be familiar with the job description as to what kind of fellowship, what kind of job you are applying for. I would give couple of weeks to read something about it. May it be neonatology, may it be nephrology, may it be neurology, etc. So do not go unprepared. Fourthly, do not tell about your personal life too much. It is not a personal interview, it is a professional academic interview. So give a snapshot of your work history, give
Mm-hmm.
a very short timeline of your academic career, of where you have worked, where you have did your internship, or post MD, assistant professorship or SRship. So do not ramble about your personal life. So at least these four don'ts should be focused upon. Other than, do not think or speak in your mother tongue or any other language, because
Mm-hmm.
English is the professional language, and English is the language in which the interviews are conducted in. So I would
Absolutely.
stress upon these five don'ts, especially when you are applying for an interview.
And just to add to all those don'ts is just some very few minor points that I picked up from my experience was try.
Yeah.
It's a very small thing, but try and ensure that your background is relatively plain, or it's
Oh,
not
definitely.
fancy.
Yeah.
Be in a comfortable and a quiet environment. Make sure that you log in a few minutes before time. Do not be late to the job interview. That itself puts you on a really bad footing. Make sure you have your CV at hand. For example, if you're asked to quote from one of your research or from one of your presentations, and in that moment, if you can't quite remember it, it's perfectly acceptable to refer to your CV and speak from it. Um, and now that we've touched upon the don'ts, let's talk a few about the do's. When we do talk about the do's, uh, your interview generally spans a few questions, the first of which will probably test you on your knowledge, on your clinical acumen, or a
Definitely.
scenario. The other part can be, it will touch up on your governance, on some decision making, and so on and so forth. Ajinkya, you want to shed some more light on the do's?
Yes, I would like to highlight 2 points. Number one being proficiency of the language. It is very
Mhm.
important, to be fluent in English, definitely, because that's the language it's conducted in. So put effort into practicing it. A couple of things that I tried it are practicing in front of the mirror every day, because we usually have certain questions that are asked in all the interviews. For example, tell us something about yourself, or how certain post has helped you prepare for the current job that you're applying for. So prepare answers for this, and practice it's yourself in front of the mirror, or even make a video out of it, so that you will pick up your own idiosyncrasies and eccentricities, and if need be, you can get rid of them. So you
And even if you're not
yourself would be the
fluent,
best judge.
I would say speak slowly, speak clearly, take a moment to gather what you want to say. It's understandable that not everyone would have the same kind of proficiency with the English language.
Definitely. Yes,
Completely
definitely.
understandable. As long as you're clear, as long as you're succinct and you're speaking to the point, it is all right.
Correct. And the second point I would like to focus on is know your limitations. So when you're applying for a job or a fellowship, it's expected that you don't know everything, and they know that you are not an expert at it. But those caveats in your knowledge or your experience should be presented in a way that they are because of paucity of opportunities rather than your own incapabilities. So you
Mhm.
should assure them that if at all the opportunities are presented to you, you will ace at them. So know
Mhm.
your limitations and do not bluff that I know this, that I can do this, that I can't do this, etc. So
Absolutely.
these two will be the additions to your point.
I think one thing that I've picked up from the interviews that I've given is be honest. If there's a question that you do not know the answer to, uh,
Yes,
rather than trying to find an answer in the moment, it is much more respectable to say, I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with this question, I'm not aware. And, you know, it's fine. It's all right not to know everything.
I
Uh,
agree with you.
I think we'll keep this video very short and very to the point.
Yes.
Also, tell you some of the common questions that I've had from my interviews, and maybe Ajinkya, you can share the few just to give an idea. One of the interesting
Yes.
questions that I had was, what did you learn from your research? Another interesting one was, how would you deal with a difficult colleague? Another one was also to do with how to deal with a difficult situation at work. So these kind of questions, apart from those obvious clinical questions that you would have pertaining to your field. How about you? Any questions
Definitely.
in your mind?
So, apart from the obvious clinical questions about hypoglycemia, hypocalcemia, jittery baby, other questions are, if a nurse is given an extra dose of gentamicin, what would you do? So it's very
Mhm.
important to stress upon the fact that you're not going to play the blame game. You're going to
Yeah.
do a root cause analysis after making sure the baby is all right, and then probably apprise the consultant or the pharmacist about it and try to handle the situation in a calm, composed manner, and not shout at her, "Oh, why did you do this? And what a despicable thing you have done." No. So that's number one. And other things that they may ask you is probably, do you have any questions for us? So at that point of time, don't just say, "Oh, none." Okay, that just shows that you have not, prepared enough or
Mhm.
apprised enough about that job description. So prepare some questions for that. We will come up with more discussions and more videos, or some more insightful ways to apprise you about how to prepare for an interview, and we will help you to crack it.
So as Ajinkya said, we are actually now starting to provide one-on-one help uh, for interview preparation and cracking the interviews as well. So if any of you do want help and want to explore this further, do reach out to us on the links provided below. You can also find us on LinkedIn or Facebook and leave us a message, but I would suggest if you could reach out to us on our email address, we can set up something and take it from there.
Definitely. That sounds like a fantastic plan to help all these candidates who want to explore this option.
And well, we'll call it a day for today, and we'll come back again with more videos and more insights. Thank you for joining us today, Ajinkya. Your insights have been really helpful. I'm sure it's going to help our viewers.
It's always a pleasure. Thank you so much, Dr. Ekansh.
Thank you. Bye-bye.